Hey everyone, Pine Grove News Live, 6 o'clock on the dot. Hope everyone's doing okay. God bless everyone. Well, let's go through our routine here. Show our fair use act. We'll go see if we're live, up and running on YouTube, and we are. And for all those who may be listening or hear this later, we you get to the YouTube channel either PGN Live or PGN Live Stream. I've noticed that they have two uh, of the same thing. I don't know. They download it or upload it, whatever they do under PGN Live Stream. But my channel name is PGN Live. In any case, and of course, we're here at Mixler, where you can only, it's like the radio, just you listen to the audio. There is no video, but we will go through the news in either case. And of course, you have my website, which will always have these videos once they're recorded. That's 12pine.com. So with that, let's go over some notes. Let's go over. So anyway, what is this? The third day. Stupid impeachment trial is on right now. Just started again, round two for the day. I did not listen to it today. I really tried hard, and it wasn't that hard actually. Once I just got it out of my head, I did not listen to it all day. We have a clip or two of it, and that's all I'm going to play. It's going for the third day, and I don't know. Somewhere along the line, some guy named Songland or something like that came up with some some bad news for Trump, I guess. And then apparently, you know, changed his tune. I don't know. So it's a big circus. It's bad for this country, very very bad. Um, it's definitely splitting us down the middle, and there's just no rhyme or reason except for just pure hate. You wonder why things people are getting, well, besides the fact that this is a dark world anyway now. It's just completely dark. It's mankind left to his own ways, would probably just kill each other off. We'd all be dead. Yeah. But the darkness has their agenda, and God knows how it's going to go. It's not going to go according to the darkness's agenda. It may seem like it, but I'm telling you, there's a plan, and we should all understand that plan. We'd be a lot happier. We wouldn't let these things bother us as much. So, just wanted to mention that, I guess, and the fact that when they're swearing these people in, they are using the right hand and so help me God. Because, man, I think it was like 2, maybe even 3 years ago. Not sure exactly, but it was a while ago that they're actually thinking about removing that from the swearing of the oath. And but apparently they didn't. Apparently that or they brought it back in because I've heard it for 2 days. So that's good news. Maybe someone didn't allow that to happen. You never know. Um, just want to mention briefly also about this. I call him Kenya. Yeah, but that Kenya West, whatever, keeping up with the Kardashian type thing. Everyone's wondering, if he's the real thing, and he puts himself. The problem with that is, just watch for the fruits, okay, the fruits of his labor. And right now, he is just propping himself up really, really high. I mean, the statements that he's made on stage, during that Sunday thing with Joel Osteen, and of course, look at the venue, and yes, he most definitely will convert people. I think I spoke about this 2 days ago. He will. There's some lost people in there that are just looking for a place to learn about God, and they're they're meant to be there. That's all I can tell you. I've been to a couple of churches before I found out what the real truth was. Yeah, I don't know how. I was obviously very blinded, maybe on purpose, so I could learn something. But I can remember at least 2 to 3 churches. I'd probably say 3 churches. One I started to, but it was very quickly determined that that was not the place either. We've all been there. Um, some people will claim that they haven't, that they've always been in the right place. But in any case, it's all a learning curve anyway. We're all here to be refined, get all that garbage and stuff out of us. We're here to, yeah, definitely be refined by fire, that's for sure. And one more thing, I don't know if I have the article, but they're supposed to be on the 22nd of this month, November 22nd. If you want to know any more about it, go. I learned it from Blue Kool-Aid. He does some, studies, research of things, happening around our sun, and he goes through all these charts. It's. I enjoy watching it. He said today, November 22nd, got this meteor shower coming in. I guess it's called a unicorn shower, unicorn meteor shower. Supposedly, it is supposed to put out something like, well, he started off saying 400 meteors per hour. Even though it's only supposed to last about 40 minutes, it's a very small area, I guess, and a very dense area, meaning that there's a lot of meteors in this one area. But anyways, so he says November 20, actually it'll be 11:50 p.m. on the 21st. I don't know why I'm saying the 22nd. I think because he said that first. But anyway, 11 and Eastern time, okay? So figure it out from where you are. And supposedly you will be able to see it. He said there was only one place that wasn't going to be able to, and I forget that. But anyway, at 11:50 p.m. on the 21st, 10 minutes to midnight, um, that's when this meteor shower is supposedly going to come in. And I forgot to do that, but maybe I'll do it in the video when I put that out with the links. I'll put in, I think it's called Live Meteor, something like that, where you can go. It's just like a, how do you call it? Kind of like an equalizer that you would see on your radio, and it has all the ups and down waveforms. That's what this will look like on there. And I know some people already know what I'm talking about, but and when meteors pass through this particular frequency, it'll start beeping or making another sound, and you'll actually see it at least on your screen. I'm sure Sooth or something like that. Maybe they'll show something live. I would hope so. Sleuth, I think, Slooth or something like that. And there's a couple different places that are like the live meteor. Um, so I find that stuff interesting. I mean, I've always had a telescope from time to time. Never had the patience to stand out there and be real still, because if I moved, at least in the way I had it set up, that if you're looking at a far distance, so you'll just see a light just moving all around the place. Because if you move, it takes few seconds for it to settle down so you can see it. In any case, November 21st. Sorry, November 21st, 11:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be this unicorn meteor shower. And he said also that there's going to be only about 15 minutes of this 400 per hour, but you'll have periodic stuff before and after. Anyways, just in case anybody's interested. Well, I guess that was it with the notes. Um, yeah, I'm just thinking about the stupid impeachment. It's really disheartening. It's what our government, or at least part of the government, half the government, is doing to just because of hate, and it's hate. It's all around everywhere. Have you ever, well, I talk to somebody from California almost every day, and I hear about all the laws that they're making, and it's not just their state. This state too, here in Connecticut and Southern New England. Um, there's, like 60% of the people want to either leave or have left. Only the rich people are moving in, and they're making stupid laws up for us lower class. Um, you know, I'm not even going to start going there. Maybe another time. Make a list of all the stupid laws that they made. I know I came out a little while ago, a few months back, before actually probably late 2018, with the list of what they were going to do in 2019. The laws are going to pass. One of them was, yeah, we're going to have to start paying 10 cents for plastic bags. They're getting rid of the plastic because it's ecologically unsafe. They're finding too much of it in the ocean, I guess. That's why they got rid of the plastic that were on the beer cans. Because apparently it was there was so much of it in our oceans, which makes up 2/3 of the world, that they would have all this clutter that they could find and change rules and laws because of it. I'm sorry, man. We're just not that big. We're just insignificant compared to the size and the scope of the planet Earth. So, anyways, this I'm showing here on the screen. It's an older story. Don't know exactly how old. It's at least a couple days. I know it says 16 hours, but this just goes to show you that they've been testing things, not just the internet, our power, our phones. Uh, Remember that test of Trump came out, and it was just supposed to be a test, a presidential test that he actually did, first ever in history, or at least since I've been around, 60 years. So never seen anything like that. All kinds of emergency things here and testing going on because when the things get really bad, and they may be getting bad soon, maybe before the end of the year. I mean, we're coming up with these idiots over here are in impeachment hearings, which is basically just the Democrats trying to soil the president's image and or credibility because they know they don't have anything to stand. And I think they're just doing that in order for him to lose in the elections. And if anybody should be arrested for these things, it's these Democrats for interfering in his election campaign. This is basically election tampering. That's my opinion. In any case, Iran has been cut off from the internet for almost 72 hours. They do it everywhere. They do it in China. Anywhere you see in the protests now, and there are a lot of protests. I started watching that the other day. There's protests all over the world, around the world, in governments, in defiance of mostly corrupt, politicians, corrupt governments. The people that they put their trust in to lead them. Well, there you go. This corruption is everywhere. It's the root of all evil. This money. Yeah. You go, holds bar, all full steam ahead, nonstop, right? No full stop here, nonstop to get money. to make that your sole purpose in life. And I know a lot of us, I know we have to work for a living because we have bills to pay and taxes to pay because the government's getting too big. And we can get rid of all that and won't have those bills. Then we'd be doing a lot better. Uh, it's just gone too far to be able to stop now. It just has. And let's pray here in America that we don't end up with a communist government by the time that um, this election comes around, which, in my opinion, there may be a good chance that this election never happens, that this coming election does not happen. If something happens in these impeachment trials or whatever inquiry they're calling it first, trial second, um, government, I don't know what the, I don't know exactly what the president can do, whether he can dissolve Congress and just, have an election for new representatives. And if he could do that, I would hope that he would. But I have a feeling because other people are talking out, and they've been talking about it for a while. Movement of military troops, the excuse me, the recalling of soldiers who have been, out of the service but have that contract where they can be recalled. Our National Guard have been active. Okay, all these things, and other people talking about other things. That pieces being moved around the world. You let a thing go too long without being reminded of it, you're bound to repeat it. World War One, World War Two, World War Three. I think we've forgotten about it already. Most people just deny some of the things even happened. And it's going to be a lot more destructive. This time we do have missiles. World War Two, they were just starting at the end of the war to come up with these missiles. The Germans, their B-2 bombs, or no, U-2 rock, I forget the name of it. They weren't guided then. They just blasted them off, pointed in the direction of the UK, and just fired them, or London, wherever. And they were devastated. They did hit. Just like when Iran shoots off their missiles, or Hamas, the ones they give to Hamas, and they shoot off their missiles, 200 to 400 a day, okay, being shot into Israel. They're not guided. But if Iran gets that technology and gives it to Hamas, totally different scenario. It's going to be more destructive, a lot more destructive. And I'm telling you, people in the United States will not be safe from it. Not that. Why? Why won't we be safe? You figure that one out. It shouldn't be hard. We've been talking about it for a couple of years now. Once that border was open, north and south, there were people that were let in here that got a foothold in here now. Strongholds everywhere. Russians, Chinese Gurkhas, you name it. Pakistanis. I mean, all the people Iranians who want to do us harm, who want to see us off wiped off the face of the map. In any case, maybe we'll be gone before then. Maybe we won't. Maybe we're going to have to go through it. We are to endure tribulation. Now, I don't know about great tribulation. That's my opinion because they do have two different things. There's tribulation, which the Lord says we were all going to go through tribulation. And they were going through it then. He said that you would endure this for his sake. And because they hated him, they'll hate you and me. You're not. I know there's a lot of people out there. They think they're just going to be whisked away, and maybe that's even true. I'm sure. I most definitely could be wrong. I don't want to be whisked away and have my family have to stay here and endure all this. I would want to stay with them. knowing what I know and the protection the Lord would give me, I would want to stay and protect my family. Now, if they get whisked away, then that's a different story. I'll pray for the rest of us, the rest that are left behind. Now, we're not, we always say that we're not. If we're following Jesus, we're not going to see God's wrath. It's not about Him giving us His wrath, because we're not, we're not just not those people. We're repentive. We're constantly, bettering ourselves and trying to be Christ-like. The wrath is not for us, and He's shown His wrath many times. It's not just during the tribulation or the end of tribulation or the last day. And that's when I think the whole world is going to see His wrath, and that's the last day. We're already seeing His anger in many things. I'm sure that America is going to be seeing theirs real soon. I'll pray for mercy for everyone, of course, but we've got to get back on the right track. How are they going to do that if nothing ever is put in their way to make them stop and think? They have to have something to wake them up, to have a V8 moment, bonk right in the head. In any case, all right, let's get to the news. There's not much of it. From the Free Thought Project. Yeah, this is impeachment stuff again. As Americans are distracted by impeachment, yes, remember this. Congress reauthorizes the Patriot Act. Now, I'm surprised they even had time to, but they did. It didn't take much. They didn't have to read it, right? With like Obamacare. Oh, you got to sign it in order to read it, Yeah, there's no time to read it. Just sign it. You'll find out what's in it when you sign it. Pelosi. Remember that? So House Democrats slipped into unqualified renewal of the draconian Patriot Act into an emergency funding bill. Remember, yeah. They're supposed to be voting on whatever you call it. What do you call it? Funding the government for the next year or whatever. When are they going to have time to do that when they're out there campaigning and they're in this impeachment hearings, So while we weren't watching, we voted in this and voted near unanimously too for sweeping surveillance. Carte blanche. That was the basis for the notorious NSA program. 3-month reauthorization. Well, only 3 months. So, hey, people, we got 3 months to get together and fight this Patriot Act. We do not want them surveilling us. You could take your cameras and put them where the sun don't shine. We don't want your cameras. We don't want your spy programs. Take your whatever you have access to our homes and your smart devices and your TVs and get them out of our homes. I don't know, people. Don't you ever want or ever once think of standing up for yourselves? Or are you just going to let some big bully beat you down from the day you're born until the day you die? And believe me, your death will come early. All the stuff that they're doing, they'll get you in your prime years and your healthy years, or you think that you're healthy, and then quickly death will come from all the poisoning that they're putting, that the government is taking control of. Our water, okay, our food. You wait with all these shortages now that they're claiming all over the world. And yes, some of our crops have been damaged. Yeah, some of them, have short growing seasons. Yes, it's not enough to cause, this, according to the UK anyway, the price is going to skyrocket. They're going to do that so the government can step in and take control and leave it up to the government. And yeah, and then get the barcode on your arm or your forehand or your forehead. That's what somebody else said to me today. Yeah, it's probably going to be a barcode. It probably will. Who says it's going to be an RFID chip? Doesn't the Bible say the mark is a mark, a chip? Or is it a mark on your head or a mark on your hand? I mean, they keep telling us that it's going to be a chip. How do you know that? You know, we're all thinking chip, and then they go and do something else, and you just been deceived into it. It's like Eve. Think about that one. Anyways, yeah, so another 3 months, this Patriot Act. I'm going to read it for you one of these days. I know it's dry, but I can read it for you. You need to know what's in there. You need to know what's in the Constitution. A lot of people forget that. You know, when I saw a football game the other day and they started playing the Pledge of Allegiance, does anybody know the words to the Pledge of Allegiance? There was a couple words that I forgot, at least didn't remember at the moment. I thought I knew it. Anyway, um, let's move on. Let's move on. So, Israel, World Israel News, Gantz fails to form coalition. A third elections loom. There you have it. I think the old government still reigns, obviously, until a new government can be formed. Netanyahu couldn't do it. Gantz can't do it. So now they're going to have to vote again, third time. That's what's going on over there. And other corruption charges around Netanyahu, which may or not be true. Just another way to get somebody you don't like out of office. Just accuse him of something. So this is this guy, Ambassador Sondland. Supposedly, Democrats are proclaiming a big, huge win today because of. Anyways, I'm just thinking whether I should play it or not. Am I set up for you to listen to it? Let's go set it up briefly. All right. Let's just do it.
As I testified previously, Mr. Giuliani's requests were a quid pro quo for arranging a White House visit for President Zelensky. Mr. Giuliani demanded that Ukraine make a public statement announcing the investigations of the 2016 election, DNC server, and Burisma. Mr. Giuliani was expressing the desires of the President of the United States, and we knew these investigations were important to the President.
Okay, so I thought I heard something else, so I played it again. It's basically mostly around Giuliani, however you pronounce that. You know, of course, he's the guy that. Anyways, I won't get into that. That'll take a long time. Remember, he was involved in 9/11. He had that building, the last one, Building 7, that came down last. That was supposedly he had an office in there. I guess it was a command center for terrorism or something like that. He was supposed to be in that office, but he wasn't. He was actually on one of the wharfs over there. In another type of scenario or another command post. But anyway, he wasn't where he was supposed to be. And there was trillions of dollars that supposedly couldn't be found. So they went and destroyed all the evidence. Same thing that was in the bottom of World Trade Center. Supposedly all kinds of gold that was stored there. Did they find any of that? No, I don't believe they could even get to the bottom. Yeah, so if you're interested, I'm going to include it. Democratic congressman unleashes on Gordon Sondland over amended testimony. So I don't know. I don't know if you're as sick of this as I am, so I'm just putting it out there for you. I really had enough of it. I listened to it a little while, and when I watched, Fox News, the five, when I get home, um, they'll update me. I'm not going to listen to it anymore. But some interesting news have come out on this Epstein death. This is from the Activist Post. FBI threatening Epstein death as criminal matter after guards are arrested. And apparently they've found a third camera that was working. Kind of funny that it come out now. I mean, how long has it been, right? It's been a few months. Been a few months. And they said that, for some reason that these other two cameras that were there just were not operating at the time. They were down, something. I don't know. So anyways, the two guards that were on site. It says right here, two federal correctional officers who were on duty the night Jeffrey Epstein died were arrested early Tuesday on federal charges relating to their failure to check on him the night he died in his cell, according to New York Times. Well, according to this camera, supposedly, um, he was checked on at 10:30 p.m., supposedly, according to this camera. You know how easy it is to just go and make this film up and put another date in there? You know how easy it is to manipulate anything on the internet now? Anything, video, any pictures. I mean, there used to be a time where you couldn't fake pictures, especially if you got an instant camera. If you wanted to give evidence, you had to give it in an instant camera because some, negatives film could be manipulated. An instant camera couldn't. I used to have one. And then when that when that went away, it was video. If you had video evidence, and for some reason, especially black and white, they find that better. But that was unmistakable evidence. Now that you can manipulate it, on a whim, I don't find any. It's just hard to trust anything these days. So that's why I don't. Well, I never really trust anything anyway. Use your discernment. That's all. You have this, this good and evil detector inside you, and you could have. I don't know, it determines where you go in life, what you do with it. Determines a lot of things, and it's just also from activist posts, according to Fox News, Epstein's prison guards. The indictment should end all the conspiracy theories. According to former New York Police Commissioner. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not at all. And that's probably why they put all this out. Two guards going to be arrested for what? What's going to happen to these two guards? If anything, they'll lose their job. They'll just find another job in another correctional institution somewhere. That's all that's going to happen. They just did this in order to stop the conspiracy theories, to put an end to it, as he says. I'm sorry, that doesn't put an end to it. I don't think it's really a conspiracy. There's two things that could happen. That he was actually murdered, made it to look like suicide, or he's not dead. He's just gone somewhere. He has too much dirt on a lot of important people, many important people. Do you think, especially, something like that would have information stored in different places? I mean, if you're smart about it, and then you would let all the people that know. Yep. That way you can assure that you're not going to die. He may be taken away somewhere and put on an island, maybe start another island somewhere where nobody knows about. So when you ever go to Google Earth, and start checking on things, these islands, just Go down there, find the smallest island, just wave. That's probably where he is. Yeah, especially from New York. And I guess people, we need to watch for things happening in New York. People with weird um, sicknesses, diseases, and or a immediate raise in cancers, maybe even brain cancers. Apparently, according to some commercials, New York has implemented 5G there. I mean, they show commercials where they show the speed test on your mobile device, and the needle is pegged all the way in the gigabyte range for streaming. Yeah, and we don't need that kind of speed. No, the everyday person doesn't even need a quarter of that. Maybe not even a tenth of that. I have 30, open pages. I have 3 programs running. I got one to make my own video program. You got the YouTube program going and the software to make sure that that goes to YouTube. I have a lot of things open, and I can run that all on 40 megabytes per second. Now, I pay for a service that I get, at least so they showed me many times, 100 plus megabytes per second. And there's no way I could use that. Now, maybe commercially, some other thing, big, huge, maybe a studio somewhere, whatever. I mean, then you might, you definitely would probably need those. Yeah, I don't even know then. But anyway, not for the everyday user. It's that 5G is being implemented for many reasons, and you should go research it. Go to stopthecrime.com and go research it. All of it's there. Stopthecrime.com. If it's not .com, try .net. I think it's .com. Judy or Debbie Travalis or something like that. She has all kinds of great information on that. A lot of people do. Yeah, and so this also comes out too, also from the Actors Post. Royal family, I guess it's a big thing going on now over there. Biographer defends Prince Andrew. Soliciting sex from minors is not pedophilia, according to this biographer. I mean, wow, really? Really, lady? Biographer for the royal family, Lady Colin Campbell, recently appeared on ITV's Good Morning Britain, where she defended Prince Andrew against claims of pedophilia. In her defense of the disgraced prince, Campbell pointed to the prostitution charge that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of in 2008 and attempted to downplay the fact that the girls were underage by suggesting that it was simply hiring sex workers. Yeah, that's all it is. Doesn't matter if they're underage or not. It's still just hiring sex workers. I mean, yeah, I know it's the oldest profession in known history, but we still call it pedophilia when they're underage. Now, okay, so you've all seem to have forgotten that Jeffrey Epstein, the offense for which he was charged, we just read that. Yeah, was in prison, was for soliciting prostitution from minors. That is not the same thing as pedophilia, Campbell told the shock panel Monday morning. If you solicited a 14-year-old for prostitution, you're a pedophile. That's a good question. I would consider it still pedophilia. Most people would consider it, I guess, what? What's the age cutoff? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me what the age you think it should be at where we cut it off from soliciting sex from minors to pedophilia. Or is it the same? Come on, people. Somebody tell me. If I was you, I wouldn't answer it. Yeah. You know, the demoralization of this country and the world, well, it's been around the world for a long time. It's been in America since the 90s and gone down here since then. From Natural News, it's happened in Colorado public schools now requiring students to role play child sacrifice poems as part of rape training indoctrination. Natural News. So, the greatest challenge covering the actual events taking place in our world today is the most people still don't recognize the level of depravity, perversion, and evil that is overtaking liberals and Democrats. So, they can't mentally grasp the reality of what's actually happening all around them because it's unthinkable. So, when a 16-year-old Colorado girl was violated by sexually explicit role playing, this assignment in public school, where she was required to role play rape and sodomy concepts, while the teacher demanded she read out loud the lines like, oh man, something in the, and it's just, I'm not even gonna, you could just go look at it if you want. They don't really tell you the words, but they block it out with caricatures. These are 16-year-olds that I'm trying to remember what it was like when I was 16. Most people dismiss the reality because they can't fathom it being real. But it is real. And it just happened in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And there's a story here of Skylar, 16 years old, attends public school in Colorado. Her teacher required Skylar to role play sexually explicit rape and sodomy scenarios in front of the class. In front of the class, these things that are most horrific and not, I don't even know what to say about this stuff. This is just crazy, vile. Well, all I can say is we can pray to the Lord to take the veil away from these people and let them be able to see the light. Man, if they're out there teaching these children, and at 16, I remember being 16, didn't feel like a child, but I was. I know my children at 15, 16, and they look very young. So I must have been young when I was 15, 16, but I didn't feel that way. But that doesn't make all of this in any way okay at all. This should outrage you completely, totally outrage you. Outrages me. And the thing is, we just hear more and more stories. They just increase every day. They don't decrease. They increase. They're trying to infiltrate the schools. Most of this comes from, started in California, working its way across, usually here. After they've tested it in California, it usually comes to Connecticut, but I haven't seen anything like that yet, at least not that I know of. All I know is this is what they're doing with our children, the 16s and 15-year-olds. There's stories I got here, two of them, of other teens and what they're doing when they're at this age. At this age, 15, 16, I was more interested. Well, I was interested in girls, but I was more interested in partying and being with my friends and having a good time. Not role playing rape and sodomy or letting transgenders read to me. Or I wasn't out shooting people. in a brawl somewhere or at a fast food chain because you didn't get the right hamburger, you go and beat the freaking person who's at the drive-through up. Oh, we didn't do those things. And I was thought to be a bad child just because I didn't conform to everyone's rules. I wasn't bad like things that you're hearing today, by no means. So, well, here's that article about the unicorn meter storm. That's from End Time Headlines, but I don't want to stay there long. I want to get to this. Teen girl arrested in plot to attack church in Georgia. I think she was 16 too, right here. This is what I'm talking about. Plot to shoot people in her church. This one right here. We're going to go back to that one, but this one right here. 4 teens, okay, board a school bus and attack elementary kids inside. Yeah. I mean, these are our teens now. I mean, the prominent bishop said it was divine intervention that no events were scheduled at the Hall Country or County Church last Wednesday night. That's after police announced they arrested a 16-year-old girl who allegedly planned to visit the predominantly black church that night and kill those inside. The teen, who was white, and I'm sure she heard some voice in her head from this 5G crap telling her to go and do this. Create some, kind of race riot down there. Hopefully spread from there. The plan to attack this Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church, according to Gainesville police. So wow. So that was in Georgia. This one with the school bus, 4 teens boarded. Let's see. Officials for an Atlanta. Okay, well, is that both in Georgia? What's going on in Georgia, man? What's happening in Georgia? Wow. But it's not just Georgia. So officials for an Atlanta area school say a group of older students boarded a bus and attacked elementary school students inside, sending one to the hospital. I mean, enough. A statement from the DeKalb County School District obtained by news outlet says 2 middle school students, 1 high school student, and an 18-year-old non-student are accused of assaulting younger students on board the bus Monday morning. What could possibly be the reason for that? And you go ask these kids, this 18-year-old and this other one who, what do you say, middle school, high school student, what's that, 15 to 17? You go ask those, I don't know. That's what they would tell you. Why'd you do it? I don't know. I don't know. It's just that age. It is that age, and they call it the generation gap because nobody really understands what that is. I went through that same period myself. I don't know because I don't know the answers were just too hard or the question was too vague. I don't know. See, there you go. I don't know. But I'm just saying, man, it's these teens. I hear about these things all the time. These flash uh, steel mobs where everyone call each other on the phone and let's go break into, go walk into the store and steal something together. I mean, and then you hear about these places that are shutting down because, places like where kids could hang out. Why not let them hang out at some arcade? I had an arcade when I was young. Of course, I think I yelled at the owner or something like that, threw something, and I got banned from it forever. But before that, went there quite a bit with my friends. We played, ping pong games. I mean, uh, the arcade machines. What do you call it? Pinball. Yeah, pinball. And pool, you know. Anyways, but it's not just that. It's the demoralizing is what I'm going to call it and stick to it, of our society, I guess, learning and accepting, crazier and crazier things to be a-okay, like, same-sex marriage, homosexuality, lesbianism, whatever, people marrying trees, okay, people marrying curbs, or whatever, or a bush. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, these people they're being overtaken. They're opening doors that they don't realize, or they don't care. And these demons, like the demon rats, and I think that's what happened to all of them, or most of them there. They are just been they just think one way, and that is hating President Trump. Didn't get their way. Bah, ha, ha, ha. You know, and a lot of these younger folks coming up, they think that they're owed everything. You've heard that before. And I see it in my grandchildren. I mean, even though they weren't very rich, these kids got mostly everything they wanted, one way or another, whether it was given by the government, in any case. But if this is what our teenagers are like now, and it's a lot worse than what you just even heard tonight. They do. I mean, look at all the shootings. Look at somebody was talking about the theater one just the other night, dressed up like the Joker, and killed those people in the theater. He was what? He was young. I don't know exactly how old he is. I get 23 in my head, but I don't know if he was that old. That's not old, but I just fear for the other kids coming after those teens. It just seems to be degrading every few years or so. So the teenagers, 16 now, are actually planning to go out and shoot other people because they're mad or they don't get their way or they were dejected in some way. And kids 4 years younger than that, maybe even 2 years younger, that get worse as it goes along. I don't even know what it's going to be like by the time, some of these 8-year-olds finally grow up to be teenagers in another 8 years. I think it'll be just total across the board, total. Um, well, one of the reasons the Lord destroyed the planet, because every thought of every person was just iniquity all the time. I think we're pretty darn close to it right now. Even proclaiming Christians they have no idea what true Christianity is. They call it something. They think that they're going to be saved and go to heaven because they do call it something, or that they said a prayer and they're okay, and that's it. And you don't. There's no repentance from anything that they've ever done. They just continue to go on doing what they've been doing. That's not how it's going. That's not how it works. It's not true repentance. And yeah, you have to believe first, and you show your belief by repenting. In any case, uh, I guess this one I'll leave for the. Well, there's a bunch of earthquakes. That's all I can tell you. There was a bunch of them in the past couple of days. Um, 6 pointers. I won't even show you that. I want to show you this one. It's the last one, and this is from the Daily Star. So take it for what it's worth, okay? And it doesn't mean that it's not true. Um, and I think that it would be more truer than not. Um, I don't know if you heard that Elon Musk statement 2 nights ago when he said that what inspired him was the Apollo 11 mission. Okay, and he can't believe They put this stuff on these sides of these pages. Yeah. So he admitted that man has not gone to the moon. Well, he didn't say they didn't go to the moon. He just men have not gone further than lower synchronous orbit. That's it. Where the ISS may be because of the Van Allen belt, because of the radiation that will kill men if they go through it without protection. Yes, our machines, our spacecraft, other stuff can get through it because they don't have, the tissue that we have, but they're not organic. So in any case, when they determine that, and we've talked about that, this Project Orion that was supposed to break this barrier, I haven't heard anything about it since. It was supposed to be sometime this year that this was supposed to happen. They're going to need to go get past the Van Allen belt if they want a stepping stone to Mars, or at least put something on the moon that will protect the Earth from meteors or comets. So this short here is space travel barrier was removed. Okay, as the docks freeze and revive human for the first time. Can you say cryogenics? That long, deep sleep. What do they call that? Besides cryogenics, I mean, what do they call in the movies? In Star Trek, what do they call that? Oh, I don't know. I forget. But apparently, that's what they've done. And he shows you. Well, it's only a minute. I'll let it play. Let it play.
Do this. All we're trying to do here is buy time to stop the bleeding. So we need to cool the body really fast. And the best way that we found to do that is to pump a large amount of ice cold saline directly into the body, into the arteries, to cool the brain and heart as fast as possible. And when we did this, we found that the longer the period of no blood flow that we wanted, or EPR, the colder we had to go. For 15 and 20 minutes, cooling down to 93 degrees Fahrenheit is fine. But if we want to go to 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or even longer, we had to cool down to 50 or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we did this, we found that with prolonged bleeding and cardiac arrest, that was survivable with EPR, emergency preservation and resuscitation, but not with standard normal temperature CPR. We added some drugs to the saline to see if that would help. That didn't make a difference. It's just about the temperature. Most importantly, we found we could actually repair simulated injuries using EPR.
Yeah. So basically, the worst damage that they could see from this 60 and 90-minute intervals was the need for resuscitation, what do you call EPR. So anyways, just science fiction stuff, that they put in the screens in Hollywood, so is it fiction? Was it fiction even then? If they got this out now, okay, and they're talking to us about this now, they don't talk to us unless they're far past that. They want to slowly slowly bring this stuff to us. I don't know why, but they do. So that's another step for mankind, I guess. There you go. Suspended animation. That's what it's called. Yep, by shooting cold saline through the veins in place of the blood. Cool the brain and other things down. Interesting. So anyways, these earthquakes, like about 5 of them listed here. This one was a 6.3 in Russia. That's up there in Northwest Pacific. And they had this one, the 6.3 that happened in Mexico. I heard about that one. This 5.8 was in Argentina. That was yesterday. I guess some of these are aftershocks, like this one might be right here. Yeah, 5.4 aftershock. 5.7 here in Thailand. That was today. So, upper fives, high upper fives, and mid-level threes or sixes past 2 days. So with that, everyone, please lift each other up. Go talk to each other. Go say hello, even if you're feeling low and all you're just downright tired. Just go at least say, just been thinking of you. Hope everything's well. Leave a message, send an email, whatever. Some of us need that kind of interaction, that pick her up. And I'm thankful for quite a few people. Always seems to be somebody supporting me directly, and I just thank God for it, because I don't understand why anybody would, but I am grateful, very much grateful. It's just something that the Lord does. The Holy Spirit just creates. He's a God. He's a creator. He loves to create, and that's what He's put in each and every one of us. As far as gifts, each one of us got some kind of gift of creation, creating this, or music, or building things, or whatever it is. We all have hidden talents, and try to find them throughout our lifetime. But anyway, just lift each other up, forgive each other, please. Start communicating. Don't ignore each other. That is so bad. It is not good for either one of you or me or anyone. We need to get that stuff out. We need to work those things away. Learn to forgive. It's hard to forgive, but we need to learn to do that. So with that, everyone, it's Wednesday. Hopefully I'll be back Friday, and we'll see you then. So God bless and peace out.